Have you ever noticed how easy it is to spend 20 years without realizing where they went? When we're young, 20 years sounds like forever. Then one day you wake up. You're older. Your hair has a little more gray. Your body hurts a little more than it used to. And you honestly can't explain where all that time went. That thought stayed with me for years. But it all started with one simple conversation. Back in 2004, my wife and I arrived in the United States after winning the green card lottery. We came legally, carrying 2 suitcases, a few $1,000s, and a dream that America would give us opportunities we couldn't find back home. Like every immigrant, I was ready to do whatever it took. I wasn't looking for an easy life. I was looking for a chance. My first full-time job wasn't glamorous. I worked the night shift in a machining factory. The shift started in the late afternoon and usually ended around 3 o'clock in the morning. Every night looked exactly the same. The smell of cutting oil, the sound of metal hitting metal, machines running without stopping. People focused on their work. Nobody complained. Nobody laughed very much either. Everyone was simply trying to make it through another shift. At that time, earning $375 a week felt like success. Compared to what I could have earned in Poland, it seemed like real money. I remember calling my family back home and telling them that things were going well. And in many ways, they really were. I had a job, my wife had a job, we paid our bills, life was moving forward. Or at least, that's what I thought. There was an older man working only a few machines away from me. Quiet, reliable, always there. He looked like the kind of person every company wants. Never late, never caused problems, always working. One night, during a short break, we started talking. I don't even remember how the conversation began. But I'll never forget how it ended. I asked him if he liked traveling. He smiled for a second. Not because the question was funny, because he already knew the answer. Then he quietly said, I haven't had a real vacation in almost 20 years. 20 years. At first, I honestly thought he was joking. How could anyone go 20 years without taking a proper vacation? Then he explained, there was always something more important, a mortgage, car repairs, medical bills, children, unexpected expenses. Every year, he planned to take time off. Every year, life had different plans. And before he realized it, 20 years had disappeared. I remember standing there, holding my coffee, looking at him without saying a word. Because for the first time, I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at myself. I imagined being his age, standing in the same factory, working beside the same machines, having the exact same conversation with another young immigrant. That image stayed in my head long after my shift ended. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The next evening, everything looked exactly the same. The machines, the lights, the noise. But something inside me had changed. For the first time, I started asking a question I had never asked before. What exactly am I selling every time I go to work? Most people would answer, my skills, or my experience. Some would simply say, my time. But I don't think that's completely true. You're not selling 8 hours. You're selling a piece of your life. And unlike money, you never get it back. That realization made me uncomfortable. Not because I hated my job. I didn't. I was grateful for it. Without that factory, America might have looked very different for us. That job gave us stability. It helped us build a new life. But it also forced me to ask a question that changed everything. What happens if I spend the next 30 years doing exactly this? Working, getting paid, paying bills, sleeping, and repeating the cycle. Would I eventually become free, or would I simply become older? At the time, I didn't know the answer. Like most people, I believed the solution was simple. Work harder, earn more, Everything else would take care of itself. I had no idea that this belief would become the biggest financial lie I ever believed. To be continued.